Welcome to the Careerfluencer podcast. This is Tung Nguyen. I'm a marketing manager based out of Dallas, Texas. In a marketing landscape, especially in a startup environment, I've learned that you really have to be resourceful, be energetic, be upbeat. Life is always moving and my career is always moving, and there's really no set clock in, clock out time. I started my career full-time at 21. I joined the company as a senior, and back then I was working maybe 10 to 15 hours on top of school. And so when I went full-time, it wasn't a huge um it wasn't a huge difference to kind of the hours that I was putting in school plus work wise. And so that timing thing didn't struck me, but what did struck me was suddenly having so much responsibility, having responsibility of other people's monies, making sure what marketing strategy I was putting together was going to bring us in revenue. I never really had that type of responsibility before, where I'm responsible for a group of people rather than just myself. And so I think that was kind of the biggest impact for me starting full time, was suddenly I was in charge of so much money that if it messed up, then it would all be on me, as opposed to just being a student or something where if you failed a class, that was on you, but you could recover from that. And so being in this type of environment and starting out my career, and with a startup, you're kind of putting through the ringer. You're just tossed in, and you gotta adapt and you have to be flexible. And so that was kind of nerve wracking to me. Was I didn't have that much experience. I had an experience, 1 year experience with them interning, but coming in and doing it full time and knowing day in and day out that I was responsible for all of these marketing budgets, and that if the marketing strategy wasn't working well, that I would have to be responsible and kind of defend it, or put reasoning to it to our clients. And so having clients at all was surprising to me. And I think that whole change, not really time wise, not really working the 8 to 5, was a big impact to my life. But it was really having the responsibility of other people just looking towards me to kind of make their money, make more money for them. And so I think through that, that was the biggest change for me, was the responsibility aspect of it. One word to describe my career would probably be fast. Going in with really no experience, it was really tough. Not knowing what I'm doing, as well as working with limited resources. And so it was kind of having to learn on the first step, on the go. And so since then, it has been very fast growing. We're growing pretty quickly. My roles have constantly changed, responsibilities have been added. And so, one word to sum it all up has been fast. I mean, I love the environment. I love being in a fast paced work environment. It's always changing, challenging. And so, I'm picking up stuff as I go. And the thing about a startup is you really don't know what to expect on the first day or on the second day. When I first started my career, and I mean, a few years into it, it's still kind of fast paced, but I got more accustomed to the environment and kind of how to keep along with it. And so during the first part of it, I think having to work outside of the work hours was something that I wouldn't say foreign to a lot of people, but it wouldn't be what I expected. I thought you clock in at 8, you clock out at 5, and then you wouldn't be working until the next day. But with especially with my field in marketing, just because I was in charge of all of these marketing budgets, that if something were to happen, that would spend all of the marketing budget for the whole month, and then we wouldn't have anything left to do. And so I think that part of it was very stressful to me. And coming back to the fast paced part, I could be dealing with 3 clients one day, 4 clients the next. And you can never predict what's going to happen with the campaigns, which is what I love about marketing too. was that you're continually innovating and changing things to kind of seeing what consumers are more attracted to. And so I'm picking up stuff as I go. And the thing about a startup is you really not don't know what to expect on the first day or on the second day. And so I think that's the exciting part about it and kind of what has encompassed my career from then. I'm an immigrant, and so we grew up basically with not a lot of resources. My mom and dad were working multiple jobs to kind of provide the basic needs for us. And so growing up, I didn't have a lot of career goals, or I didn't have a lot of I wouldn't say ambition, because I did know that I wanted to do something that would provide enough for my family and I. And so it wasn't always about let's be a doctor or a lawyer. It was always practical about what can we practically do and what resources did we have that would make that dream possible. And so for that, I think when I was growing up, I always thought of working in the business field. That has always been a part of my goals, is to work in one of the Fortune 500 companies or in a high rise. And that has been part of the dream. And that shifted as I grew older and kind of went through a lot of like, different experiences. Like I said, I'm in a startup right now. And so that hasn't always been in the cards. I never imagined working for a startup. And so when I did start that journey with the real estate company, it was kind of life changing in a way where my goal shifted, my outlook on things shifted, and I started to prioritize different things. It wasn't always about the money, it was about finding a place where I could see myself grow. And I always thought that would be with a huge corporation, but being with a startup, it has allowed me to grow more than I think I would have been in a large company, just because of the different things I was able to experience. A lot of people at other corporations wouldn't have been able to have access to C-level executives or the resources that we've had, or working with large partners, being in those conversations. I think part of that has really melded me and kind of shifted my goals a little bit from where I thought I would be. And so now I'm thinking of progressing more into the startup industry and kind of not jump from companies to company, but really help one company develop and grow. And for the past 6 years, I've seen the real estate company grow so quickly that it's exciting knowing that I was kind of at the forefront of that and kind of started from that part of the company and kind of seeing where it is now. And so throughout my life, I've always thought that I would be at a huge corporation. Business has always been my passion, but through kind of my experiences since then, it's kind of definitely did shift to more of the startup, small company type business. I think when you're struggling at doing something or finding that motivation, you have to think about, is this what you want to do? And I think a lot of people come down to that is, are you pursuing that career for the right reasons? Is that your true motivator? In my MBA class, we talk about passion versus strengths, and the two don't necessarily align. Your strength might be in editing graphics, but if your passion is not in it, it's not a viable career for you because you're going to get burnt out. And so, if you're struggling to find motivation to do whatever it is you want to do, you have to think, do I want to continue doing it for 30 to 40 years? Or, I mean, it's never too late to shift to a different career or to a different passion. You gotta follow what you want to do, because essentially you're doing that for half day every day. You're doing it for 8 to 9 hours every day. And doing something that you're passionate about would make your life much less stressful. You're gonna find motivation to pursue the different things that you want to do, and all of these things that are coming your way will seem more of an adventure and a challenge that you like to tackle rather than an obstacle. So I think anyone that's going through kind of struggling through it, it might be a motivation thing, or it just might be that you're getting burnt out by what you're currently doing. And that might mean you're still passionate about the field, but it might not be the right company for you, or it might not be the right work hours. Everyone gets motivated by different ways, different reward systems. And so you have to figure out what it is and then seeing if your company is able to accommodate you. Because in the end, they benefit most when you're performing at your best. And so if you find yourself struggling at work to keep up, then maybe it's a conversation with your manager to line the workload that they may not be aware that it's overloading you. Or if you just don't find passion in what you're doing every day, then maybe take a little time off and seeing at the end of that time, do you want to go back and do what you were currently doing, or is it time for you to kind of find a different path and look at it that way? Because it's not worth continuing to battle every single day, because the more time that you're battling is taken from the time that you're able to do something else that you're passionate about. Make connections. I mean, everyone that you meet, they could be a possible connection for you in the future, and always being open to new relationships and new friendships, and to always be nurturing those relationships as well. And it's not just because they might become a connection for you in the future, it's because you learn a lot through different relationships. Um, you learn something different from each relationship that you have, whether that be a friend or a partner. I think that's what's most important, and that's what I would tell my younger self to be open to, is letting people in and not being so guarded. I think you could learn a lot of life skills or a lot of career skills as well, that would help you in your future job, whether that's communication or trust or honesty. Anything like that would really propel you in your future career. It's really the soft skills that I think are important to develop at a younger age. And so even it proves true today, where whoever you meet, they might become a big part of your life in the future, or you might need them as a connection to a company that you're wanting to get into. And so always being open to new connections, I think that that's kind of the biggest takeaway that I have so far in my career, because I'm always constantly meeting new people at digital master classes and conferences that I otherwise would not have if I just closed myself off to all of those opportunities, or just even not initiating that conversation. It could be as easy as, "Hi, how are you? My name is," and then kind of taking it from there and talking about your life goals and career goals, and seeing how you guys can help each other in that. Because essentially, and we've all heard this, it's all about who you know and not what you know. And I think that's continuing to prove true, and will continue to prove true in the future. Basically, you need to have a network of people that are going to support you and will be there for you. I think that's very crucial, not just in life, but in your career.